All right. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the third quarter edition of our Kentucky Innovation Hub's quarterly update. I'm Lisa Bajornis, Executive Director of the Innovation Hubs with KSTC, and of course, in partnership with the team over at the Cabinet for Economic Development, representing the Office of Entrepreneurship and Innovation. Together, we bring to you our quarterly update. Thank you again for joining us. Together we support not only our 6 innovation hubs around the Commonwealth, but also the many entrepreneurial support organizations, or ESOs, in each region across Kentucky. We are now 3 quarters into, or 9 months into our fiscal year 2024 as of the end of March. And with the innovation hubs, we'll highlight the results that they've achieved over the last 9 months. So that'll be from July 1st of 23 through this most recent March of 24. And we really appreciate the opportunity to share with you the progress, the impact, and the results of their work throughout the state, along with their regional partners. And of course, this quarterly format allows us to convey to you those results with transparency about the state of startups across the Commonwealth. So I'd like to take a moment just to share with you a few of the headlines of this past quarter. And for our hub presenters, I have hopefully done my very best not to step on any toes or repeat anything that you've got coming up, which I look forward to. So first of all, I do have some welcomes that I'd like to make. We want to welcome David Lopez, who is a new entrepreneur in residence with the Amplify Hub. We have a warm welcome for Nibs Badakara and Sarah Lindgren. They are new Northern Kentucky University Fellows working with the Blue North Hub. We certainly want to welcome the newly established Startup Grind Cincinnati, which is featuring fireside chats with area founders and entrepreneurs, and they are sponsored by Blue North. Welcome to the Southeast Kentucky Angel Investment Fund and their planned $1 million fund. They're ready to start accepting money from angel investors and identifying early stage startups that might be worthy investments for their fund. And finally, welcome to the newly created Launch Blue Ventures. Their efforts will democratize and diversify access to capital for Kentucky startups through their Invest Blue initiative. And this is in partnership with Keyhorse Capital and with support from the US EDA. We have a number of congratulations to extend, some exciting accomplishments by various startups. We recently had a great cohort of startup companies across Kentucky that were recognized as a Kentucky Inno 2024 Startup to Watch. So congratulations to those early stage companies, and we wish continued success in all of your growth. CRG Automation was named to Time Magazine's list of the 200 best innovations of 2023 for their creation of the Improved Cavity Access Machine, or ICAM for short, and that was in the category of robotics. Congratulations to the beverage company Modica, selected for the Start Out Growth Lab Accelerator. This is a 5-month program that offers education and resources to help LGBTQ+ founders grow and compete in the marketplace. And we're so excited for Value Buddy. They're a fintech AI-powered platform, and they were recently selected to Techstars Atlanta. So congratulations to Value Buddy. And then finally, Seamly Systems was named Startup of the Year in Kentucky by Hacker Noon. They're a tech fashion startup that works to create inclusive pattern sizing, design, and virtual clothing development software, with the mission to increase equitably for creators and designers in the fashion industry. Congratulations to Seamly. I have 2 entities that I really want to give my personal thanks to. First of all, a big shout out to Forecaster. I don't know if you're following them on various social media, such as LinkedIn and Twitter, now called X, but of course they continually put out fundraising words of wisdom and guidance, as well as their various fundraising webinars at no charge. So I do encourage you all to check them out and to be sure to refer your startup clients to their content. I also want to recognize Launch Blue for their great job producing the 4-part virtual series Sales Lab, which discussed founder-led sales. They featured founder and author Pete Kazanji and his practical guide for startup sales for founders, especially in that first-time sales role. So be sure to check out his book, Founding Sales. I highly recommend that. We had several exits this last quarter by some of our startups. Congratulations to Simba and the team on their acquisition. They're a fintech startup in the real estate space, and they created a mobile-first customer relationship management platform for real estate agents. Quite a long time ago, I remember introducing Summit Biosciences, which is a pharma platform with an innovative nasal spray that delivers medication for patients with chronic and acute care conditions. I introduced them to the former Louisville Enterprise Angels. And so now, congratulations to those investors in that company, as well as the team with Summit, on their acquisition by Kindiva Drug Delivery. And finally, congratulations to Cartainers. They were acquired by New York-based HK Motorcars, and the company's platform offers state-of-the-art automotive display and storage solutions. Quite impressive. On the capital front, the hubs and I track investment activity in Kentucky startups, which means the number of startups that receive funding and the total amount invested in them. So since the start of this calendar year, so January till now, Kentucky has had 19 startups that were funded, and that was at the amount of $32.7 million in those 19 early stage companies. The largest investment deal this past quarter was Good Maps, of course, located in the Louisville region, and they raised a nice, cool $5.4 million. They're developing a really amazing technology. They're developing indoor digital mapping, which is intended to improve accessibility and safety of indoor spaces, particularly for people that are of no vision or low vision. And I'm thrilled to share that eGateway Capital, a Covington-based venture capital firm, successfully secured its largest fund to date. So as partners to Blue North, their $100 million investment aims to elevate the region's prominence as an e-commerce hub. And then finally, I'll round out just with some hub news to share with you all. Blue North sponsored the GrowthX workshop with Andrew Goldner, presented by Startup Cincy in January. And Andrew explained the sequence of steps that every B2B founder needs to take to get to market and define product market fit. Create recently hosted Governor Andy Beshear in January, and the governor had an opportunity to tour the campus and their space and to hear about Create's entrepreneurial programs and meet several startups located there. In March, Grow Rest presented a new educational series titled The ABCs of Venture Capital Funding, and they structured that into 3 essential segments covering key aspects that are critical for every founder's understanding of venture funding. And then finally, I had a great time participating as a judge earlier this month at SOAR Startup Appalachia pitch competition. They had a record number of applicants representing 26 different Kentucky counties, and they applied for their chance to compete. So congratulations to Complete 3D on their $10,000 first place win. And so with that, we normally would hear an update from the cabinet from Monique Quarterman, but she is not available this morning to join us. So we are going to move right on through our agenda. All right, so as you know, the rundown this morning, typically we will hear from each of our Kentucky Innovation Hubs. There they are, the 6 that represent their various different regions. We're going to kick it off, I believe, with Grow West, and we're going to just cycle right around the state as you see them there. But before we turn it over to the hubs, I just want to mention what they'll be talking about with all of you. So they're going to be reporting on their third quarter updates covering 9 months against their 12-month goals. They'll start off with a startup win and give us a nice success story from one of their startup clients. They'll then display 9 of their 12-month metrics, but they're only going to highlight 3 of them. This is a little heads up for them. So they'll just choose the 3 that they want to highlight for you so we can keep things moving along. And then, of course, they'll talk about an event highlight from last quarter and give us an update on a current strategic initiative. So that's what they'll each cover. And I'm going to remind everyone that you each have no more than 5 minutes to present. If you've gone over last time, you know who you are. We had a little chat afterwards, but each of you does have 5 minutes. All right. So moving along, I am really thrilled to have Hannah Randall, who's with us. She's representing Grow West and is their community development coordinator. Grow West, of course, representing the Western Kentucky region through Sprocket, as well as their partners there, the Muhlenberg Economic Growth Alliance, or MEGA as they're known, and the Madison-Hopkins County Economic Development Corporation. So with that, welcome, Hannah.
Hey there, can you hear me all right?
We can hear you.
Perfect. All righty. Well, thanks for the introduction, Lisa. So I'm going to start out with our startup success highlight. Like Lisa said, you may have seen this one in a lot of our weekly wins. So Prevent Scripts is one of our grittiest startups. They've been working on their software for 14 years and have really taken a huge growth curve just in the past 2 quarters. So in October, they raised a $1.5 million in their Series A. Since then, they've been able to hire 3 new positions. One is a chief operating officer, another is an accounts manager, and then they've added on another marketing coordinator. And then on top of that, within the past month, they've been able to establish their new board of directors. So that includes co-founder and CEO Brandy Harness, who you'll see pictured center in the top photo. We also have in there, they've brought on former banking director William Bill Jones, as well as healthcare tech entrepreneur Jean Ann Booth. Next slide. And then I'm thrilled to announce Grow West has done phenomenal in all of our metrics. I think we've only got 2 that we are still working to hit our year-end goal. The 3 that I would like to highlight is our startups referred, we have been able to double, and that's a lot thanks to our initiative of our office hour folks. So these are coaches and mentors that we've brought into the Sprocket sphere, where we make a lot of referrals to them for help with expertise like government contracting, local city business licenses, as well as just strategic coaching on how do you develop, how do you scale your business. And they have been able to check in with us and keep us in the loop of referrals they're making, referrals that we need to make for the startups that they are meeting with. It's been a really great partnership. I also want to touch on our new jobs. And so we have 109 new jobs. That's a lot, and thanks to Office Pride. They started with us when the co-working space here at Sprocket opened. And so we have been their soft landing for them to scale and grow. And they are just a powerhouse of economic driver in West Kentucky with hiring a lot of new people every quarter. I'm sad to say they actually have outgrown us, which is exciting for them. They bought their own new building, but we will be sad to see them leave the space. And then lastly, our Grow West partners have been helping us with more than tripling our events hosted and attendees, where Muhlenberg Economic Growth Alliance and Madisonville's Movers and Makerspace, they host a lot of weekly and monthly seminars that just bring in people to that economic space where we're trying to bring entrepreneurship to West Kentucky. Next slide. And then in terms of our previous events, so you may have heard about Sprocket's Next to 50K program that we're running. This is a pitch competition that we host every year, trying to recruit in new tech startups to grow their business in Paducah for a year. With that, we have been listening to our previous winners, and they were really looking for that industry coaching and strategic help. And so in last quarter, we developed our Healthcare Advisory Council. We took a look at what are our niche industries, what do we have a lot of strengths in here in West Kentucky, and it's healthcare. So we wanted to announce the Advisory Council to our startups, get them to meet what we already have in the tech space. And so we had a healthcare roundtable back in February. We had our 4 health tech companies present. That's Authify, PreventScripts, the Robert Madigan Company, and MoveWell. And it was a fantastic 2 hours of pitches, conversations, as well as a really good lunch. So next slide. And then lastly, we have partnered with Aviatra Accelerators out of Covington, and we have been running several programs throughout the year with them. And we're excited to announce our next initiative is going to be the Daydream to Launch program. On the slide, it says starts May 26th. That actually is a mistypo. It's supposed to close. So if you would like to get involved in this program, it is for anybody with a business idea that's looking to turn it into reality. And so if you'll email me, I'll get you on the wait list and get you enrolled in it. And I'd be looking forward to see who wants to join. With that, that's Grow West.
All right, thank you so much, Hannah. And I love the hub-to-hub collaboration, the region-to-region collaboration. Thank you so much for sharing the latest from Grow West through Sprocket. All right,
Absolutely.
we're going to keep moving along here. And I'm delighted to have Larry Horn, who is Executive Director with Amplify Louisville, representing our Louisville region, and of course with their partners, the U of L Research and Innovation EIR program. Hi, Larry.
Hey, Lisa, thanks for having us. It's good to be here, and I know we need to jump right into it. But narrowing down the key wins was really our biggest challenge. But I thought a really great one that talked about all the ways that Amplify supports our community with our good friend Akil from Zena. For those that may have heard Akil's story in the past, this is a gentleman that won a business plan competition. And then applied for Render Capital's competition and won. And as we all know, as a part of that competition, they must move to Louisville for a year. And I know myself and many community leaders, we kind of wrapped our arms around Akil and his wife, and happy to say they have moved here to Louisville full time. But for those who don't know, Zena is an AI-powered e-commerce growth platform. They've worked with many other startups here in town, for example, Monica and Derby Fit, and have continued to fundraise. I think the last I saw, they're up to $8 million raised over the last couple of years. And they've been in Techstars New York. They have just continued to pile up trophies, raise capital. I think I spoke with Akil over the weekend. They're up to 35 employees and still looking for the growth that they on the trajectory to do. So we're excited for Akil. I know from the work we did with him as Amplify, not only did we really convince his wife that they should move here, but he worked with our EIRs for both pitch deck and connectivity, mentors in the community. We've helped him with our job board. And then, of course, just, got him different accesses to capital around our community. So wanted to share Zena as our big community win over the last 9 months. For our key results, I think there is a lot of wonderful things happening in the Louisville community. I think very similar to Grow West, we have had blessed to really punched our weight when it comes to our metrics. And the 3 I would like to highlight, really, obviously, the big one, startups served. That is a combination of our Amplify team, which includes our entrepreneurs and residents. That is also the University of Louisville's entrepreneur and residents. So together, I think we have 6 to 7 humans that are meeting with founders, startups, and innovators on a daily basis. The next one, which is really the guiding metric for us here to Amplify, which is Startup Advanced. As we say, all these things are great, but if we're not helping companies move to success or quite frankly failure, then we need to rethink the way we're doing that. So we are outpacing our own goal that we have internally as well as with the state, where we've helped 56 companies advance through the Village Capital's viral investment levels. And then lastly, though, we have small to do with this, but we're very excited, is the $111.8 million that startups in our community have raised over the last 9 months. That has been a very challenging thing, as we all know, over the last 2 years to do, and we're very excited and proud of those companies. For our event of the last 9 months, and we can all see the wonderful Lisa Bajornis in the bottom, supporting the Amplify sign there. Is, as Lisa pointed out earlier, Forecaster is such a terrific community partner and startup company here in Louisville. We got together last summer of like, how do we actually get founders together, build social capital, build camaraderie, but also have investors and other folks from the community involved. And they were gracious enough to have Amplify be their designated charity of the golf event. And wow, did we, if any of you on the call were there, we had a great time. We were rain delayed by an hour, just meant we started enjoying conversations earlier, but we had 104 attendees, 28 sponsors, lots of media coverage. Superstar Lisa was there. But most importantly, I think every human I've talked to that has that I met or that attended talked about how much fun they had and how they look forward to, save the date, August 12th, to attend again and participate this year. And then last but not least, we talked a little bit about at the end of our last fiscal year around the thing we were going to focus more over this current cycle was continuing to build out our ecosystem OS. And this is the utility in which helps us service our entire footprint for Amplify. And you can see there kind of rolling into next year as well. We'll have a mobile app. There's part of our membership platform. The most important part of this is access. So it doesn't matter if you are in Bullitt County and you work 18 hours a day, you still have an opportunity to access many of Amplify's benefits, services, et cetera. Going forward, we will also be adding in national and global resources and classes as part of the platform. Our partners in the community can run their programs as a part of the platform. And most importantly, we can have our partners have private channels to communicate with their groups throughout. So we're really excited about this platform and its ability to address and give access to founders across the Commonwealth. And I think for that was our last slide. Again, Lisa, thank you so much for having us. And any questions, you can always reach me at larry@amplifylouisville.com. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Larry. And we certainly appreciate the creativity in terms of providing a digital access platform that you have through your ecosystem OS. And certainly the Golf Scramble was a great innovative resource generator for you all. So thank you for having me there. All right, moving along around the state, we are now to the Lexington region, and we have Garrett Farbach, who is director there with Awesome Inc., representing the Awesome Center for Entrepreneurship, and of course with their partners base here, which I believe has been renamed to Regis, as well as their partner UK Innovate. Hi, Garrett.
Hey, Lisa. Well, congratulations on making the longest drive. Larry was raving about it, so hopefully you got the Golden Driver trophy. Megan, if you can be so kind to kick things off, we're going to have Allie give her own update because I don't need to speak. She's phenomenal as an entrepreneur, and she should share all of her startup wins.
All right, let's
there we go.
see.
Take it away, Allie.
All right, hey guys. So many of my favorite people on this call. I wish I was invited every quarter. And I did participate in the Startup Scramble. It was incredible. So everybody from around the region, you should be there. I wrote it down, November 12th, it looks like, or no, October 12th, something like that. Anyway, thank you guys. Oh, August. Sorry, I couldn't even read it. Thank you guys so much for allowing me to be here. I am going to sing the praises of Awesome Inc. because not only have I been super fortunate to be a part of the fellowship class the last couple of months, but also I was super, super fortunate to win the semifinals and the finals and the crowd favorite at the 5 across pitches. And I think this is so important to mention that I would not have been able to close my what we shot for was 1.5 million. What we landed on was 1.7 million, and we got the last wire yesterday, so that's why it's Q2. So I would not have been able to do that had one of the judges at Fibercross not been there. He became my lead investor. He's now our board member, and he helped us close the round. He really put us in front of 2 or 3 key investors in the area that we would have otherwise likely been declined by had he not been there. And just the champion in that Awesome Inc. does for their founders is unrivaled. So thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here, and congrats to Kentucky on just kicking butt and taking names. And thank you, Awesome Inc. for the opportunity.
Okay, well, thanks, Allie. We should bring you everywhere we go. That's awesome. Yeah, next one, please. Yeah, real briefly, a couple startups to look on this lovely graph. We'll talk about the Startups Advanced, Startups Funded Investment. So we do an annual assessment. I know a handful of you have heard me say this over the years. So usually the end of the calendar year Q4, November, December timeframe, we'll do one big update from all of our founders. And so today we have over 200 startups that have progressed to some degree on the chart that we've been given by CED. And then for startups funded, that number is continually growing. Lisa, you mentioned a couple friends of ours that have gone through some of our programming, Good Maps, Cloverleaf, and we could being that, and then startup investment at 32 million for this fiscal year ends. So we're really excited about the progression here. Next 2 slides. I mentioned this on the call last weekend, but we had a phenomenal event, startup weekend in Lexington last week. Threw a little picture of most of the crew down below, but had a phenomenal event with winners from coming all across the state. And again, Buddy Steen, you got some folks from Bowling Green who sung your praises. Thanks for sending them our way. And then there we go, Buddy. And then the last slide, unique initiative. We just launched a new partnership with Fayette County Public Schools to help develop some curriculum around cybersecurity and then help close or really bridge the gap from industry and education. And so that's going to be our sweet spot. So if you have any questions about this, there's Kyle's email. Reach out to him. If I can help, G at Awesome Inc. So thanks for the time, Lisa. Appreciate you.
Cool. Thank you so much, Garrett. And thank you certainly for bringing along one of my favorite founders, Allie Trutman with Wicked Technologies. Love to hear her story directly and firsthand. That was awesome. Thank you. All right, we're going to continue moving around the state. We've now hit our Northern Kentucky region, so that means it's Blue North. And we've got Dave Knox with us, Executive Director there. And their partners in the region, Aviatra Accelerators, Incubator Kitchen, and the NKU Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. Hi, Dave.
Hey, Lisa. Thanks for having me as always. So great to see everyone and awesome updates across the board from all the hubs. So I want to start with our success story. You know, when we talk about the mission of Blue North, one of the things we really talk from a unique standpoint in being Northern Kentucky and this greater startup Cincy is how do we play the role of champion for our entrepreneurs? And super proud of 2 of our entrepreneurs for doing that job of PR really, really well with a little bit of a competition, a little bit of a fun. We had both of them in Better Blend and Niche Fire. Better Blend won the KY Inno March Madness, Inno Madness competition. And then Niche Fire followed that up by winning the Cincy Inno. So awesome to see 2 of our Northern Kentucky startups and entrepreneurs get the recognition they really deserve as incredibly cool companies doing great things. So one success story there. Then on the metric standpoint, you know, calling out 3 of our specific metrics. One of the big focuses this year has been on Startups Connected. How do we really roll up our sleeves and get our entrepreneurs connecting with the right mentors, the right investors, and the right resources across the board? We've blown away that number this year. You know, I think we have a good chance of maybe being close to a 3x when we're all said and done for the year. And a lot of that has been on corporate connections. You know, right now is a very trying time for a lot of startups for raising capital, but revenue is the best thing that you can do to solve that and drive that in. So we've been really putting a focus this year on how do we connect people for corporate customers and really driving that revenue for their businesses across the board. Then the next one, kind of call off Startups Advanced. Once again, you know, if you're going to have success here, you got to keep them moving, keep them advancing. This is one that in particular our sub-awardees have been a really, really big help for us. How do we help startups in those very earliest phases of their journey and quickly advance to that point that we can get them ready for pitching investors and really kind of thriving in that world? And then the final one is from an event standpoint. There is so much great content across the board that's getting entrepreneurs exposed to it, bringing them together. And like a lot of our hubs, one of the things we've been focusing is how do we bring founders together to really realize that they're in this journey with partners. They don't have to go it alone. They can have others that can help them and guide them. And so a lot of these events have really been about, yes, content, but more about bringing the founders together as a community. So next slide. Talking of our sub-awardees, one of the fun competitions we just had recently was our CIE did their elevator pitch competition. This is, think of it as the very earliest phases for us to get these collegiate entrepreneurs really exposed to what this could look like. And with the goal to then get them into other programs like the KY pitch competition, the NKU incubator, and if all goes accordingly, we get them even further along the line. One to call out, because it's all about how we get this ecosystem working together. The top right picture there is Nibs, who was one of the winner. You'll start seeing his face a lot more because he is one of our new NKU fellows that actually is going to be joining and working with Blue North for the next 15 months. So we're super excited to see entrepreneurs that are not only building the ecosystem, but really getting themselves involved in a day-to-day basis. And then the final one here, next slide, is our Founder Resilience Fireside Chat. So this was, I think, on last July for our Q1. We talked about this as one of our new initiatives that we launched. And this is one that we continue to really focus on. We took advantage that there's a venture firm called 11 Tribes that's based up in Chicago. And they have a really fascinating model that when they invest into a company, they take 2% of their invested capital and set it aside for what they call the Founder Resilience Toolkit. And that is for their CEO founder to invest in themselves, whether that is physical health, mental health, counseling, whatever it might be. And so Mark was going to be in town. Actually, he's an investor in Circle, which was one of our startups here in the region, was going to be in town for a board meeting. So we took advantage of that to do a fireside chat on founder resilience, why it matters, and why as a community we need to continue to invest and elevate. And one of those, you can see the result of it was a LinkedIn post actually that Michael Ragsdale of Bailout Systems posted afterwards. And he talked about the importance of us elevating this and how in some of the darkest times he went through as a founder, it was because of what we offered through the Resilience Accelerator that he was able to get through it and really keep going with the business. And it's comments like that and posts like that. We can celebrate all the venture capital raised, all the jobs created, everything else. But the most rewarding is when we see our founders really say, this is what helped me get through and keep going on this journey. That's why we're so excited about the founder resilience and something that we continue to expand and hopefully expand across the state as a really super important topic and conversation.
Great. Thank you so much, Dave. And again, as always, we appreciate that you continue to bring this to be top of mind. Such an important aspect of that founder journey certainly is their mental health and keeping a very positive state of mind as much as possible. So thank you for continuing to keep that elevated as a theme. All right, and now we're going to continue moving around the state, and that brings us to our Appalachian region in Eastern Kentucky, represented by SOAR. And we have Sabrina McWhorter, who's with us, Director of Business and Innovation there with her SOAR Innovation team. Hi, Sabrina.
Hi, Lisa. Good morning, everybody. And Allie, you're just so inspiring. I was there when you did the 5 across. Just amazing. So good morning, everybody. It only felt right that we share about Sunhouse Craft the day after Earth Day. So Cynthia Main took her deep commitment to sustainability and her love for planet and mixed it with her fabrication and art skills. And she took the plunge and learned the craft of broom weaving. A short time later, she created the gorgeous storefront, Sunhouse Craft there in Berea, Kentucky. And this business has put in blood, sweat, tears to get where they are today. And while they have grown leaps and bounds, I feel very safe in saying that they're just getting started because these guys are going to go super far. Cynthia did just take home third place in our 2024 Startup Appalachia Pitch Competition. And I have to just give her a special shout out because she was 100% plugged into our mini accelerator that we put on as part of our pitch prep. Through this, she identified and solidified the need for additional staff, and I am confident 2024 is going to be one for the record books for her. You can find her products in over 200 stores that reached out to her, which is exciting, and read more about her in publications like Garden and Gun, New York Magazine, and Southern Living Magazine. 10 out of 10 recommend checking out her website and visiting her store. She has over 100 different handcrafted goods for sale, and she's just going to be shooting to the moon. Next slide, please. So on this slide, you're going to see our Q1, 2, and 3 metrics versus our annual goal. And I just want to highlight 3 in particular. So startups advanced, startups funded, and amount invested in startups. We are seeing significant growth in our startups. And one I would really like to highlight here is Black Box Energy Systems, which just received an SBIR matching grant fund. And that, that in itself is just such an achievement. But all 3 of these metrics really just go hand in hand. When you're advancing, you're probably getting funding, and that at the end of the day, funding is needed to grow your business. So Black Box Energy System, they design lightweight, powerful motors and energy generation technology that focuses on clean and energy inefficient energy production and storage. So very cool. They're really doing it all here in Eastern Kentucky, and they take pride in that, which is very exciting for us. Next slide, please. So next, I really just want to highlight the power of collaboration. While we focus most of our time and energy on startups, I have to recognize the importance of the technical assistance providers across all of the state, and just the power in knowing that we don't have to service the startups alone, and that we're all in this together with the same common goal. So we just hosted our inaugural technical assistance provider gathering for Eastern Kentucky, and we really gathered our closest partners who we regularly send referrals to. This served as an opportunity for us to come together, ensuring we're all on the same page and meeting one another's needs best when it comes to referrals. But this is just the beginning of many gatherings as part of a strategy to really strengthen that ecosystem and ensure that no startup falls through the cracks. While not everyone could attend at this time, it's okay. We had great representation from Mountain Association, SCED, Kentucky SBDC, K-Card, Community Ventures, and the Women's Business Center. Next slide, please. And finally, we've been all over the 54 ARC Kentucky counties, bringing a day of entrepreneurial to startup stores. And with our Ignite Innovation series, we've really just been able to get in the trenches with them and really meet the needs that they are facing on a day-to-day basis. We wanted to make sure that this was not a barrier, that the locations were not a barrier for anybody. So we're rounding out this series with a virtual option to ensure everybody has access to this information. And once completed, we're going to work to ensure that all this material that we've taken all over the state will also be available in our self-service online 24/7 access available page as well. Again, it's totally free. And while you don't get the perks of the yummy local food for an in-person event, we're really excited for this virtual option because we've got a few tricks up our sleeve to make this event just as memorable for those in attendance. So that's it from us, Lisa, and thanks for having us.
Thanks so much, Sabrina, and I appreciate all the time and effort that you put into first, getting around to quite a number of your area development districts with your road tour, as I was calling it, and now bringing that in a more online version to create and increase even more access. So thank you for your focus on that, Sabrina. And then finally, we're going to swing it down to our South Central region there with Create, and we have Buddy Steen, who is Program Director, to talk with us about what's happening with, of course, their partners in Elizabethtown and Owensboro. Hi, Buddy.
Yeah. Thanks, Lisa. And what great reports today. That's encouraging. I want to talk a little bit about the ecosystem. our ecosystem is really starting to accelerate, and the network is just multiplying. And one of the things that we've done here at the WKU Innovation Campus and through Create, because that's the economic development piece, is we've really focused on recruiting talent, creating a place where talented people want to be, and then challenging them, and in some cases requiring that if they come here, they share their talent with the other people and their network. And man, that is really working for us. And so that's starting to creep over onto main campus. We're about 5 miles away from main campus. And this particular group, Doppler EOC, are 2 PhDs at WKU, Josh Durkee and David Oliver, who are spinning out a program that they've been piloting on campus. And they redid their space. That's a network operations center, soon to be manned by students, which basically does like severe weather analysis and forecasting for events all around the country. And then also they do, all kinds of event management, emergency management, and consulting for folks in real time. Like the Chicago Marathon would hire them to manage in the event of weather conditions or other things. And so we're really excited to have them, and that's what that is. So next. Okay, so our numbers, we're doing all right. Startups served, we had 678 startups up until now. Our goal this year was 330. In terms of referrals, we've had 181. We work with the SBDC here quite a bit. In fact, we give them free space so that they're here so we can send folks right over to them, and we've exceeded our goal there. And then this year and next year, we're going to double down on our events. It turns out that, we have 260 some odd folks in that collaborative smart space. And we have 80, we counted up, there's 80 different entities that kind of interact here. And as other folks were saying earlier, it's really important to get folks to work together and know each other. And so we've hired an event manager, event and program manager full time. And we're going to do more and more we call kind of meaningful networking events. This year so far, we've had 33 and 1,267 folks attended. We'll probably double that next year. So that's my 3. Next. Okay, so I believe what Garrett was talking about was a gentleman, Khalil Garman, probably, that visited you. He's a recent graduate from WKU, just a really smart guy, programmer, entrepreneur, starting his own company. He works with a lady named Nessa Unsold. I think last time or time before last in this, I talked about her new company, and they got together and they're creating a hackathon for us. And that hackathon is going to be May 11th, 2024. And that's just part 1. That's sort of the smaller version of what's going to be a real mega hackathon later in the year. So we're excited to have them membership lead, these kinds of things. And we're just excited about that. Next. Okay. And then speaking of membership led, we're so happy we were able to co-found a regional tech council here in Bowling Green, centered in Bowling Green, but it's not just here. We go all the way to Nashville and Larry, we probably would invite, Louisville, all the way up to Louisville. I mean, you guys are welcome. There's a really good board that formed, very capable people. Rob Wilson is our executive director. He's one of the tech and business leaders at Keller Schroeder, which is a company that's located here. And so we're just excited to have that Regional Tech Council, and welcome you guys to go to that page, regionaltechcouncil.org, and look up the events and things that are happening. I think they've got a data analytic peer group that they're having in May 22nd, which is kind of cool, having folks get together and share those problems and being able to host them here at the Innovation Campus is just great. So we're excited about this coming year and the year after. I think fiscal year 25, I would say, will be our afterburner year. So we're really kind of planning for that. So thank you guys so much.
Great. Thank you so much, Buddy. And we look forward to hearing more about the initiatives that the Regional Tech Council takes on. And I know you're going to see a lot of positive outcomes from those that take advantage of the peer groups that you're putting together for them and that great peer-to-peer networking and resource. So thank you again. All right, I think we have moved through in record time. I appreciate everyone for the summaries you've provided and the conciseness and brevity with which you have presented today. Just to mark your calendars, this month we do have our next Startup Resources series planned for Tuesday, May 21st at 10 a.m. Eastern. And then the next Innovation Hub quarterly update will be in late July on the 24th, also at 10 a.m. So you can look for communication coming about both of those in the near future. For those of you that I'm going to see in Covington later this evening, as well as tomorrow, safe travels to each of you, and I'll see you then. And until next quarter, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Take care.